Hey everyone, and welcome to my 4th of July special garage tour. I will be going over my American car collection in GTA 5. So let's make this intro quick and get straight to the first car here. The first car in my CEO garage is the Vigero ZX, or well, the Camaro. I honestly like the way the orange and light gray complement each other on this car. I do also have the 01 on the side, because, well, I have to since it just reminds me of the General Lee. This car is very fast overall and handles nice, but it is a bit sad it took them 9 years to add such an iconic car to the game. And of course, speaking of the General Lee, we do have an orange 70s Charger here. I know I'm not using the normal emblem, but I do have it in another crew. I do also have the Confederate flag, however, I'm not sure if I can show it on YouTube. So, we will just stick to the Ocean flag for today. Now, we have a similar build to the Dukes, with the Gauntlet Hellfire, still in orange with the Ocean flag. But this car just looks amazing. It is probably my most used muscle car, since I believe it is still the fastest in races, although I think the Vigero did beat it when added. Continuing with more Dodges, here's the Gresley. We all know it's a Durango, so I honestly wish they added a Gresley Hellfire to the game to complete the Dodge trilogy. This car is honestly useless in terms of performance, but it does look nice, and I have it here just to complete the collection. Now time for honestly the craziest build in this garage, the Buffalo STX. You can definitely tell I was going for a JDM tuner/ricer style with this build, especially with the giant wing at the back, very tuner inspired, and with all the body kits on this thing. It handles really good for a muscle car, to the point where it would have made more sense to put it in the sports class anyways. It would have also been nice if they added a police car version, or let the police drive them instead of the Ford Taurus that's been in the game since 2013. This one isn't as crazy, but it's just another Charger. I do have red lights on this car like the STX, however I can't show them because lights don't work in garage. Definitely a solid car, before we had the STX. Onto the second level, we have the Corvettes here, starting with the C3 Corvette. Honestly, it's just a cute car to have. Now I know it doesn't have the pop-up headlights, but this car was added before the Tropos, which was, I think, the first car in the game to have them. But it definitely is the cutest American car in the game. It also is probably the oldest one in this collection. Onto the C7, the first Corvette in the game. You can tell that, like the Buffalo STX, I am going for a tuner style again with the lip and spoiler, and definitely the crazy hood, which I wish we had more of in the JDM cars, as there's a few Bosozoku hoods in the game, but not many like we do with the huge intakes and such on the American cars. Overall, a good car from 2013 or 2014, but really does lack performance now compared to all the other cars, to be honest. Now with the best Corvette in the game objectively for performance, the C8 Corvette. I say for performance, but I'm not sure about looks. It looks way too European to be a Corvette, but I guess that's what they were going for. It is really fast and handles perfectly, which makes it my most used sports car in races. You can really see the contrast with how it went from still looking like a Corvette to completely changing into a supercar. Now you might be wondering why there is a Toyota Hilux/Tacoma here, and that's because while it's a Japanese brand, it's still a pickup truck literally built in the USA, not even sold in Japan, which makes it fit here just like the other trucks. Speaking of trucks, I honestly wish there was a way we could use them for cell missions or crate missions, because other than looks, trucks feel so useless in this game. Maybe in GTA 6 we will see them for things maybe such as weapon storage. Also, I don't know why some hoods and doors in my garage are opened a bit. Pretty spooky, not gonna lie. Now time for this huge Goliath class truck, the Sand King XL. Literally an insane car up there with the Dubsta. Now of course I got this truck for free by going to the Beaker's garage in Sandy Shores and stealing it across the street. The truck is only $45,000, but you can still steal it by going here, and it's a special version of it if I remember correctly. This is the Vapid Cara Cara the Ford F-150. However, I have to call it the F-150 because it looks like an exact copy, not even a parody. I'm surprised Rockstar hasn't been questioned about this at all, let alone sued. It just looks like a Forza model or something ported into GTA 5. Sadly, they didn't copy the real-life interior and just used the same old interior every other car has, which for a truck based off a modern truck feels odd, since trucks and SUVs are basically the same now. My opinion changes for the Caracara 6x6 Technical, because oh my god, I love cruising around in this thing with a friend doing drive-bys and causing chaos. Well, that is until we take one rocket and die. It's a fun vehicle, but the armor is lacking for sure. Super fun to play around with. The half-track has more armor, but this is just faster and more fun. On to the third level here, we're starting with a Cadillac CTS-V, or Albany VSTR. It looks like a Mercedes C300, but it's clearly a Cadillac. It's nothing important performance-wise, and honestly, a forgotten car in general. Now the Coil Raiden is obviously a Tesla, but the acceleration on this car is pretty fast, which is what I expect from an electric car. Instantly recognizable exterior for sure. Got it when it first came out, and I still love just driving around in it. I'm not a Tesla fan in real life, but I admit it's a really nice car. The interior is pretty nice as well for a GTA car. It really looks bigger on the inside, and especially with the larger touchscreen and moonroof. Although I'm not sure if the real Tesla has one. The Ruiner ZZ8 is just wild. It's an early 2000s Trans Am WS6. The car really just feels so smooth, and could really pass for a JDM tuner car. The big nostril air intakes are pretty iconic too. Like the real-life version, it does have pop-up headlights. However, I can't show them in garage. I'm glad they did add them because I believe the WS6 Trans Am was the second last car along with the C5 Corvette to have them. Now, I remember buying this Ruiner for the sole reason that back then we didn't have the Futo GTX, so we had to make do with this, which is why it looks like a Panda. Although looking back, it looks more like a Mark III Supra, and the headlights really look like the ones on the Nissan Z31. Here's the Vapid Ellie. Now, I'm not much of a Mustang fan, but I did buy this, well, because I made it look like Raleigh Vincent's car in Gunsmith Cats, which is a Shelby GT500. If you don't know, it's basically an old 80s OVA with muscle cars and gunfights in Chicago, which if you're a GTA fan, you should probably check it out. I'll leave a picture on screen with the inspiration for this build if I can. The Cavalcade isn't anything special, but it does have the Midnight Club dub vibe to it, especially with the speakers in the trunk. Very 2000s. However, you might not be able to see them well since I can't open the trunk in a garage. The Grainger 3600LX is a literal beast. This car is perfect for just cruising around in GTA when bored. For an SUV, there is so much customization that I think is only rivaled by the Rebla GTS. It also has Imani tech, so you can add armor to it to tank rockets from tryhards when you're just trying to cruise. They definitely knew to add armor for the right reason. This car is even good for cruising in first person because the interior doesn't feel copy and pasted. I genuinely love how it feels so spacious. This car would for sure be popular on those 5M roleplay servers with crybaby bitch admins for how much it feels like a real car. To switch to my female character for a second, since she has these cars instead for some reason, I have the Imperator. Which, okay, again with the anime references, I got to make a car like the Trans Am in Redline. Pretty fun car with the boost for sure, though. As for the Dominator GTX, I don't have much to say about it since, as I said before, I'm not a Mustang fan. The name won't make me buy it just because I'm a Dom or a Seme for my cultured audience. It's just a car I never use. Okay, this will be a bit weird, but yes, I do have a garage full of Hummers. Now, the Hummer used to be my favorite car since my dad had one, which is what the yellow one right here is based on. He sold it off once it got too old around 2021. It was really big on the outside, but small on the inside, like most people who buy them. You know, just kidding. It didn't have the Guzzler plate on it in real life. That was just a joke taken from American Dad, but I'll put a photo of it on screen. Although the Ocean flag wasn't on the real car, it does reflect my OC, which you can see on my channel banner as well. But I will put another photo up for reference, which funny story I used that exact picture of the H2 to send for the commission of the artwork. This ruby red H2 is based on, you guessed it, another JDM build of an American car. This one I saw in a video once, since it seems in Japan there is a culture, and even a group of people known as H2 All Japan, dedicated to making the craziest Hummer builds, something we don't see much in the country that made this car. The ride height is also lower as well compared to the other H2. As for the rest of these, they are just some color variations. Fun fact is that this car was broken in the nightclub update. The Patriot Stretch has way more customization and a working light bar, but the spawning of the bull bars and circle lights at the top was broken and can't be modified in the game anymore. I do have the Patriot Stretch, but the interior looks like a PS1 game, so it's not worth covering in this video. The Squatty, however, is amazing. The horn is pretty fun to use for sure. The car just looks so bulky and rugged. Insane customization. Was extremely hyped for it when Cayo Perico came out. As for this last Hummer, the H1, it's not a Barbie Hummer. It's yet again another anime car. This one is based off of See-Through, the H2 used in panty and stocking. Unfortunately, the roof can't be deleted, but I tried to make it as, well, naked and see-through as possible. See what I did there? I did, of course, have to add some military aircraft. These vehicles aren't too special. Some planes are based off of, again, another show, Area 88. The Akula has an Evangelion skin and so on. The Gold Buzzard from GTA 4. Not much to talk about in the hangar, since most planes don't have customization, which, well, makes sense. I have to thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. It wasn't so much intended to be a 4th of July special, but it was just a coincidence that I wanted to make a video, and also test how commentary would sound on this channel. Since it was just a test, it might have sounded pretty boring and chill, but I promise I'll read the comments and see how I can improve my video making in the future. Have a happy 4th, everyone.